Welcome back to the George Preston Recreation Center here in the township of Langley, British Columbia. It is Draw 10 action Tuesday morning at the 2020. So you know I'm well into it here. The 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championships. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, and it is my pleasure to welcome aboard Jim Cotter to the broadcast this morning. Two-time provincial junior men's champion in eight-time provincial men's champion, going for a 9th later this month in Cranbrook. Jim, welcome aboard for this morning's broadcast as we feature Team Nunavut, skipped by Sadie Pinksen, and Team Prince Edward Island, skipped by Lauren Ferguson. And Jim, obviously two teams at the bottom of the standings, looking for their first win, looking to finish this preliminary round robin on a positive note.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're just going to go out there and keep gaining that experience that they're looking for. That's what these events are all about.
So I'll run down the lineups for you. Team Nunavut from the Iqaluit Curling Club, skipped by Sadie Pinksen. The vice skip is Christiane West. The second is Caitlin McDonald. The lead is Lena Chown, and the coach is Donelda Maddie. But we will tell you, Leona Chown will not be playing today. She's sat out the last few games. She's injured. She's got an IT band syndrome in her left leg. She's receiving physio. May be able to play in the seeding pool, but for now she is on the bench. So you see Christiane West will throw the first 3 rocks at the end, and Caitlin McDonald will throw the second, third, let me get this right, 4th, 5th, and 6th rocks, and Sadie Pinksen will throw the final 2. Prince Edward Island lineup. The lead is Lauren Ferguson. Second, Sydney Howitt. The vice skip is Christy Rogers, and the skip is Rachel O'Connor, coached by Pat Quilty from the Cornwall Curling Club, and it is Prince Edward or Nunavut with last rock advantage here in the first end. And a guard in play and rocks in play in the first end.
Yeah, they're going right at it right away here.
And that will just slide through. And Jim, you've obviously coached at the junior level. Your daughter is actually playing at this championship, has the morning off, playing for Team BC. Just talk about junior curling in general and kind of the strategic things that go into it. As we say, we're a little surprised by seeing them put rocks in play here in the first end.
Yeah, oftentimes you'll see the first couple ends, they might try and save some time, just get used to the ice as well, and play it a little bit more open. But looks like this morning they're going to get right into it and get some rocks in play, which isn't a bad strategy as well.
Nunavut with a 1-3 record. Prince Edward Island at 0-4. Nunavut lost its opener 11-1 to Manitoba. Came back and defeated New Brunswick 9-4. Lost 10-4 to Northern Ontario. And then lost 9-8 in an extra end to Quebec yesterday. And that was a heartbreaker that we'll talk about as this broadcast goes on. PEI at 0-4. They've lost 10-4 to Manitoba, 9-6 to Quebec, 9-5 to Nova Scotia, 9-7 to New Brunswick.
Looks like the ice is really quick this morning. Usually the morning draws are.
2 Nunavut stones at the back 12. The double takeout is executed. Obviously the draw to backing or draw behind the corner, the center guard was an option there, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. They could have drawn to the back ones there, or just come around top 4 there as well.
And you see Sadie Pinksen, she is going to ignore that PEI stone at the back. And Sadie obviously has a ton of experience. She's been playing at these Canadian juniors ever since her first trip in 2013 to Fort McMurray. I had the pleasure of being there to see her win her first game. That was at 2016 at Stratford, Ontario. Nunavut's first ever win at the Canadian juniors, and that was a thrill for her. Jim, Sadie will be playing at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts with Team Nunavut next month in Moose Jaw. She will not be skipping. Of course, that role handled by Laurie Eddy, who is very familiar to a lot of curling fans. Co-host of Two Girls in the Game podcast, and she will be playing at the Scotties for Team Nunavut as a free agent.
Wow, that's amazing. I see here she's played 13 years. That's a long time at the age of 20.
Definitely is. So run second stones for Christy Rogers, 20-year-old. She's a student at the University of Prince Edward Island. This is her third trip to the New Holland Canadian Juniors. She and Rachel, as a matter of fact, played for that 2018 team in Shawinigan under skip Lauren Lenentine, who now, of course, is playing with Manitoba. And they won their first 5 games at Shawinigan in the preliminary round, and then finished with 5 straight losses. So a little bit of a roller coaster journey in Shawinigan.
She's gonna want to, ideally get this one top 4, top button. Looks like it's hanging out there a little bit. They might take it to the back one.
And using only one sweeper, Jim, that makes a difference too, does it not?
Yeah, absolutely. She's got a lot of work to do this game, and good for her. It looks like she can sweep on both sides, so that'll definitely be an added benefit there.
So we are on third stones now, and we'll avoid using the words in turn and out turn, Jim, as we stick to those clockwise and counterclockwise rotations, just because we do have a left-hander in this game. And you just saw her throw, Sydney Howitt. She will be going to the back stone that none of it just threw, trying to get that to curl. But it still is Prince Edward Island in shot position on the tee line and mostly buried.
Yeah, she can make a nice draw in here. Top 4 again, top button. If they can get good line and even tap it back a little bit, create some space for trying to get 2 here would be really good.
You hear the call from Christiane West that it could be light. Caitlin McDonald jumping up there to help her, but I think that's going to come up light.
Might want to keep sweeping that. Try and you might get those 2 out front. Might be lined up for the button there, with the drag effect, of course.
Another chance for Prince Edward Island to get the pressure on.
Wait only.
Jim, I was speaking with Prince Edward Island coach Pat Quilty, and definitely disappointed with their 0-4 run. They definitely had higher expectations coming in this, but it's just been a matter of a shot here, a shot there, a little bit of inconsistency. And that's comes with the territory in junior curling.
Hard finish,
yeah,
hard.
absolutely. I think in all curling, sometimes it's your week, sometimes you're on the right side of the inch, and the game seems really easy, and then other times you're on the wrong side of the inch, and it's the hardest game in the world.
Prince Edward Island men, on the other hand, 5-0, and headed into that championship pool. Tyler Smith having a great run here in the township of Langley.
She left a bit of an angle here. If she can hit this one, stick around somewhere, even move that one off the button, would be a really good shot. Doesn't necessarily have to sit 2 here.
It's all there.
Should make contact. Will it move that rock out of the 4-foot, though? Yes, it does.
That's a really good shot.
Wow.
Just opens up the scoring area a little bit. I think at this point she's probably aiming to, make sure she scores one here.
Yeah, very important shot, and Lauren Ferguson will now try and replace that stone.
We're still number 1, so I think we'll just try to get one in the 4-foot.
You heard the
Okay,
assessment?
so pretty similar to practice then.
Lauren, a 17-year-old grade 12 student at Kensington Intermediate Senior High School in Summerside, or in Charlotte. Well, I'm not sure where that is. We'll check that out. She was born in Summerside, we should tell you. Kensington Intermediate Senior High School is in fact in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. So
Felt close. A little bit of room.
It's hanging out there a little bit right now.
It's not cutting.
Key will be to, at least be first or second shot here. We might have a open hit to sit to after this one.
Did you get a time on that?
A little deeper than they wanted. Now Nunavut having a chance to get into that 4-foot. First chance to look at the counterclockwise rotation, the right-handed out-turn.
Yeah, if Sadie can hit and stick right there, it'd be a really good shot.
Well, she is playing the hit. I thought she was playing the draw with that, but yeah. To sit 2.
Yeah, ideally if she sits right there, if she does roll in, she'll probably roll behind the tee line. So she'll want to sit right there and make PEI hit them back.
No, lots of line. Close. Close. Yep. Hard!
Did they leave that too long to hold the shooter?
Should spin up, frozen on this other one.
Okay,
Worked
Sadie.
out pretty well. If you're gonna roll, you want to roll way over there.
That was a tasty roll for sure. It is frozen. It's not going to go anywhere very easily, but I suspect PEI will ignore that stone.
Yeah, I think this is a good call by PEI. If you run down there, if you don't hit that one exactly in the nose, or if it's a pretty thin double, get rid of that one, you're probably looking at giving up a draw for 2 anyway. So I think this is a really good call. Plus she just threw it.
Skips like to throw the same shot back to back, don't they?
Yes, anytime you can throw the same shot back to back is key.
Felt closer.
Something I've told my girls over the years is
Line's pretty good.
the odds of making it the second time are really, really good.
Christy! Hard! Hard!
Working on this to get those by those guards.
Hard!
Should be okay for line.
Looking really good here, yeah. Top 8, top 4 is really good. Oh, nice
That's
shot.
good.
Oh, that's got to feel good and a confidence boost for this young Prince Edward Island skip, Lauren Ferguson. Very nice throw.
Yeah, great shot there by Lauren. I was really impressed. She went over to her sweepers right away after her first shot. Asked what the time was. I think I heard a 4:07, and she obviously made the adjustment perfectly on that one.
So what does she have here, Jim?
So it looks like she might be able to see an inch or 2 on this side. She might be just drawing to it. Ideally try and tap it back, 2 feet, try and score her 1 here.
Big shot here for Sadie Pinksen. Looking at 1 PEI stone in the 4-foot, close to the button.
Yeah, seeing this angle here, she can see a couple inches of it.
Might be a little warm looking at it here, Jim.
It's definitely out there a little bit. This side of the sheet might be a little fresher. You might see a little extra curl, but it looks like it's over there a little bit. Maybe a little too much weight.
And that will go through the rings. So it will be a steal of 1 for Prince Edward Island to open up this women's match on Tuesday morning at the 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors. While we have a moment, Jim, let's talk about that BC team that came in as the host team for this 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors. You've coached that team, most of it for a few years. A step back to let Tom Bushy take it on, and he's coaching his daughter, and now you get to watch from the stands. What kind of transition has that been for you?
Yeah, that's been a big transition. Coaching and being a parent, they're both very difficult. But at least as a parent, I can walk around and pace, and I'm not stuck in my chair. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with the girls for a number of years, and also Tom. We had the opportunity at the U18s as well, and just a great guy, great team, and it's just awesome to be here at this U21 event.
And of course, you've had the opportunity to play mixed doubles with your daughter Jalen a couple times at the Canadian Mixed Doubles Championship. Is that in the works this year again?
Yeah, we're trying to. She, after they won the provincials, we had to drop out of the first round, but we're going to try for the Open. Yeah, just an absolute thrill to have the opportunity to play with my daughter in the mixed doubles. She's probably My greatest moment in curling is when we won our first provincial championship there. That was something pretty special.
And she was how old at the time?
She was 15 at the time. We actually entered the event. She was playing in the BC Winter Games. She was skipping for the first time, and we thought we'd join the mixed doubles. It's just an opportunity to talk about angles and all that sort of stuff, and we happen to win it. So.
Gotta like that.
Aiming for the corner guard here.
So 2 stones in the rings, and it looks like PEI will take a shot at that Nunavut counter and see if they can get the roll behind their biter in the top 12. Ice conditions this week, Jim, superb, really. Fast in that 15 to 15 and a half range, and curl on both sides. Fun to watch curling when the ice is so good.
Oh, absolutely. The ice has been phenomenal. I've been fortunate to play on and also coach these Mike Merklinger's put in, and he's just a phenomenal ice maker, and he's very keen. His whole ice crew, they just do a phenomenal job. Super impressive.
I think one of the most impressive aspects has been that the ice conditions are, they're not identical between here and the Langley Curling Center, but fairly close under the circumstances, because curling club ice and arena ice tend to be 2 vastly different animals, but they've done a good job in trying to keep the conditions fairly consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 different buildings, there's so many different factors. I can't imagine that go into it, and to get them to be as close as they are is extremely impressive.
Of course, Mike has those good bloodlines, and we'd be remiss if we didn't say that he learned everything he knows from the old man, Dave. And I say old with air quotes around it, Dave. Don't get mad at me.
Might get a text here. Yeah, I tease Dave, the old man, once in a while, that his son's a better ice maker than he is now.
How does that go for you?
Well, I think deep down inside he's proud of that.
They'll be working together, by the way, at the World Women's Curling Championship in Prince George in March at the CN Coliseum, and I believe they'll be doing some work together at your BC Men's Championship in Cranbrook, where you'll be playing, Jim.
Yeah, I think Dave will probably be heading there today or tomorrow, and they'll be setting up the ice. He's actually working for Mike at the start of the week, so that's awesome. We expect good ice conditions there as well. Expect this one coming in. Looks like they're going to end up tapping this one right on the nose, which could work out really well.
So PEI putting on some pressure on Nunavut. The call will be to try and remove that shot stone. It's probably a little bit buried. Christian West will take it on. Hackwait the call from skip Sadie Pinksen.
Yeah, really the key on this shot is to make contact with something. Even if you get a little inside and hit that top one, roll over, maybe even roll into the rings, open it up a little bit, you definitely want to make some noise on this one.
Going to have to work to keep this one off the front one, but I think that's, maybe they'll get a plan B improv here. Did move stuff out of that scoring, out of that 4-foot, so not terrible, but it is still Prince Edward Island sitting 3 and pretty well separated too. Not too many doubles available there.
Yeah, it definitely did open it up a little bit, open up the scoring area for a final shot if she needed to throw a draw in there. I think they indicated, I think they're drawing in here.
Christy Rogers, 20 years old. She attends the University of Prince Edward Island. An aspiring artist. She is into drawing, painting. And they will sit 4 with a 1-0 lead here in the second end against Nunavut.
Oh, I like this call. That's exactly what I was thinking. If she can hit and roll on top of that other yellow one there, set up her deuce. Should be a second shot.
Caitlin McDonald. She is studying European culture and civilization with a minor in Italian. That's awfully impressive. She attends the University of Guelph. She's not able to hold that shooter.
Just needed to curl another inch, and she probably makes the double. Sits right there.
All three of these players on the ice for Nunavut are attending university in Ontario, but obviously as Nunavut residents or grew up in Nunavut, they are able to represent Nunavut. There's educational exemptions available. Sadie goes to the University of Ottawa. Christiane goes to Carleton, studying psych. Sadie, by the way, studying communications and sociology at the University of Ottawa.
This one looks a little bit heavy. Let's slide through the rings here.
And I think, Jim, that's an example of what Pat Quilty was saying, just inconsistency.
Yeah, it happens. This is when you get to a national level. If you're, it really comes down to being consistent. You got to be consistently good all week. You need to force a couple breaks along the way, but you got to make a lot of shots to put yourself in a position to make that championship round.
Well, and as you know, Jim, it can be a humbling game.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just
when you think you got it, you got it figured out. It teaches you a lesson real quick.
when I know you've come to Briars in the past with high expectations and it just doesn't work out for whatever reason. And you're left shrugging your shoulders like it wasn't like you did anything wrong. It just doesn't go your way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you just take the attitude and you prepare and do everything you can before these events, and if it doesn't work out, as long as you can look in the mirror and say that you did your best and never gave up, then that's success in my opinion.
See if we can time the stone to give you a sense of how fast the ice is. They're not touching this.
This one looks like it's got better weight. It might be losing its handle a little bit, but looks like they should be able to get it to the top 12 there. Good sweeping.
That timed out at 15.8, which is pretty blazing fast.
Super fast. Yeah, the first draw, I had the stopwatch out, and I was taking a few times and hitting 16, top 8 foot. It was remarkably fast.
Oh, and scary. When you're sitting in the hap, you don't quite believe it that you can throw it so softly and get it there. It becomes a mind game, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those slides where you feel like you stop at the hog line and then just sort of let it go.
And cross your fingers.
I like this call. I like how she's coming around this one. Even if it slides to the back 8 foot buried, it's not all that bad. Looks like it might be a little deeper in that though.
They'll try and take it to the back, and we'll see. Looks like Prince Edward Island still sitting.
How much of this do you have?
First and second shot.
All of it? I don't mind board. Yeah, I think. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind board.
She's got a couple options here. They are sitting
maybe there. They seem to be finishing
first and second.
Center line, so I think that
they could just draw around the one they just threw there, but they're choosing the hit, which is fine as well. Can't give up to if they're not in the house.
Yeah.
That's good math for Prince Edward Island. Chance to sit 5.
I think it should finish.
First trip to the Canadian area, second trip to the New Holland Canadian Juniors for Lauren Ferguson. She went 2-7 last year at Prince Albert. She also skipped at the Under-18 Championships, 2019 at Sherwood Park with a 3-3 record, and 2018 at St. Andrews with a 3-3 record. And Jim, you had a team at both of those events, or just 2018?
2018, yeah.
Right. So the hit being called.
Yeah.
And this is looking nice. Good line.
Whoa.
That's just really good weight control there. Really impressive. So impressed with these teams, how technically sound they are, and their weight control is just remarkable. I've seen remember back in the day, you know, I was sort of found with juniors, they, you know, 9-second hit, wide open hit, they'd be throwing 9 seconds, and they really toned that down over the last while. And you know, you're seeing that board weight more often, that control weight, that 10, between 10 and 10 and a half seconds.
A little up, if anything.
Really good, impressive.
Yeah, that's been a constant theme in the conversation here, Jim, with our various commentators, is the importance of that too. And you know, so many young juniors like to throw it hard, but throwing hard is not going to produce the success of having control weight consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're throwing that 9 seconds or below on a wide open hit, if you don't square it or hit, if you hit half of it, you're rolling out. But with that later weight, you can hit, you know, even a little less than half and still stick around. It's so important to stick around in most situations.
Big shot here for Sadie Pinksen, trying to weld it to that stone at the back 8. Just lost it a little at the end, but it is shot rock, but definitely accessible for Prince Edward Island. And they,
should be good.
main job here is just to make it go away. They don't mind losing the shooter. They would sit 5 and force Sadie to attempt the same draw she just made.
Got like control on this one.
Yeah, the key with that draw is also it's a good practice one for our next one. You know, when the other teams could have 6 in the house after this one. So I think getting that practice draw on her first one there, I like her chances on the next one. I think ideally if you could roll to the edge of the 4-foot there, just roll a couple feet. Probably don't want to stay right there. Unless you can roll underneath. I don't think you can though, it's hard to tell from here.
Yeah. Yes, hard!
They're working to get it by their own stone in the top 12.
Hard!
Should be okay.
Yep.
Oh,
like that, you mean?
Just like that.
Wow.
There you go.
That is a tasty roll, and looking at 6 now.
I mean, that's one way to make it.
And I don't think they called it that way, that's for sure.
So that was a bit down, you think?
I thought the call went right through the hole at the back, avoided the jam. That was remarkable.
I think in this situation, Sadie's just got to, you know, really think about just throwing the same weight. Not really focus on how many rocks are in the house, just focus on throwing the exact same weight. It's just draw to the button. She just did on the previous shot.
Is it the same? You want the same? Where is it? No, never.
13-8, Jim, and based on what we've been seeing, that could be trouble. And it will be a steal of 6 for Prince Edward Island as the stone slides through the rings. Big disappointment there for Team Nunavut. And Prince Edward Island will take a 7-0 lead into the third end of this women's division game here at the George Preston Recreation Center in the township of Langley, British Columbia. And I think, you know, that's one of those ends that kind of Prince Edward Island just kept lobbing them in there, and Nunavut couldn't answer. And I think, if anything, I know that the Prince Edward Island team struggling with some confidence coming into this. I think that will certainly ease some of those issues.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the last shot there, that's, you know, sometimes we get caught up. I'm not too sure, but, you know, sometimes the heart rate gets up a little bit. You think you throw it the same, and it ends up just being a little bit, just a little bit more weight.
Fair to say you've been there.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely have missed a few of those in my day.
And, you know, we talk about this Nunavut team. They had a really, really disappointing loss yesterday afternoon, taking on Quebec. They were down 1 playing the 10th end against a Quebec team that's in the playoff chase here. Down 1 in the 10th end with hammer. And Sadie Pinksen had a shot for the win, needed to get just to touch the 4-foot. First time in her career she's ever had a shot for the win in the 10th end at this event. And I think the team, it probably was made out of her hand, but the team panicked a little bit with the sweeping and overswept it, and it came to the back 12, so they went to an extra end. And it was Quebec coming out on top in the extra, and that was the first time Nunavut had ever played an extra end at the Canadian Juniors as well. So I spoke with the team after that game and told, you know, you got to keep your head high, and they were in good spirits, but certainly when you get that close to a win and have it slip away from you, that's tough to come back from.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those really good learning experiences. Anytime you can put yourself in a position to, get to that extra end and throw a shot, and you have to learn from it. There's always tons of those learning experiences along the way. Curling.
Well, Jim, we talk about your junior career. You won a pair of junior men's titles, but 5 years apart. And when you look at what you learned from that 1990 experience, and I'm sure there's stuff that you still put into practice today in terms of your first exposure to championship level curler. I'm guessing first exposure to good arena curling. Memorial Arena in Kamloops doesn't count. But I'm sure that was an eye opener that laid a pretty solid foundation for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. When you can at this age get in these situations, play the national championships, and if you continue curling, it will definitely benefit you throughout your career. You get exposed to playing a lot of really good teams and good access to coaching and all the other things that come with it. It's definitely a different atmosphere playing on arena, and the more experience you get at it, the better you're going to get. So, extremely important.
So two sitting in the stones in the rings, two PEI stones sitting in the rings. Just a look to what will be taking place today. We will complete the preliminary round of these 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors with the 7 p.m. Pacific draw tonight. And there were 2 7-team pools set up in both the men's and women's, and the top 4 finishers from each of those pools will move into the championship pool. And if there is a tiebreaker required, there is one round of tiebreakers that it would be scheduled for 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning to determine the 4th qualifiers if necessary.
Yeah, today's a huge day for a lot of teams. It's Tuesday. Feels like we've been here a week, but it's extremely important day. A lot of things can happen. It's just, checking out the standings there last night, and there's still so much that can happen. Exciting day today.
I know a lot of coaches and parents are looking at all the what-if scenarios, and a lot of that is, needless worry as far as I'm concerned, because it's out of their hands.
Yeah,
just wait and see.
The thing is with these teams, oftentimes they get scoreboard checking. Okay, we need this team to win and help us, blah, blah, blah. But really, what the teams need to do is just focus on what they can control. And that's their game. And even who they're playing, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They can only control their shots, process. And when it's your turn to shoot, till when that rock comes to rest, that's all you can control. Even the outcomes you can't control, because that's already happened. So,
of course, your girls, they play this afternoon at 2 p.m. against that very good Alberta team, skipped by Abby Marks. To half of last year's defending championship team, but I believe BC's in good shape with a win there to possibly, you were saying, even win their pool to get into that championship pool.
Well, yeah, you just never really know when it comes
Lots
down
of
to
what ifs.
Yeah, a lot of what ifs, yeah. Obviously, Alberta's an extremely good team, and
your girls had a big win last night against Ontario, though, coming back strong in the last half of that game.
Yeah, they sort of have that tendency once in a while to be a little slow out of the gates, but they finished strong there and got a couple breaks along the way and managed to pull out the win.
Is there any discussion among parents to perhaps get the matching hair of Kayla Bushy?
Well, if there was, I wasn't part of it because I don't have much hair, so I'd have to go buy a wig, I guess. Yeah, she's just a great kid.
Let's not move too far away from that, Jim. That might be a suggestion. Whatever it takes, eh? Whatever it takes. Process. The parents got to do their part.
That's right. We'd be happy to do it.
Nice hit and roll there, executed by Caitlin McDonald. And none of it has its guard up, and they have a rock on the button. I think PEI's shot here is to roll away from the center, wouldn't it, Jim?
Yes, definitely. You want to sort of draw the play away. Plus, if they roll underneath, they're probably behind the tee line. I think at this point they're looking to, try and force none of it to, force to a point here.
Rachel, Rachel, Rachel.
You can just roll into the edge of the forefoot and be good.
Okay, we got it.
And even
good.
rolling out is just fine as well.
Just finishing the thought of what will take place starting tomorrow. Once you have the championship pools determined, similar to what takes place at the Tim Hortons Briar and the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, the 4 teams from Pool A will play the 4 teams from Pool B in a round robin. And from there, we will determine our playoff positions. The top 3 make the playoffs. First place gets a bye to the finals on Sunday. Second and third will play in the semifinals on Saturday. And a reminder, of course, all 4 playoff games, men's and women's semifinals, men's and women's gold medal games, will be seen on TSN this weekend. Our great broadcast partners, TSN, taking over. And
just going to want to hang around on this one here. Looks like it's going to just slide through the ring. Probably going to see PI walk up there and peel that one right away.
Or do they go behind? She likes peeling. I think I do too.
Just
Jim?
control.
Definitely a scoreboard shot here.
Yep, yep, yep. Hard. 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 Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Hard roll, Christiane. Okay. That's fine. It's better hours.
Very positive there. And she said, definitely better ours. It's, if they make a nice draw around here, she knows that she can run it back. If it sticks around the house, it's their rock.
Wait's really nice.
It's much closer on this one.
Shan West going to work on this. Okay now. Definitely want it in front of the tee line.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably going to want to finish this one up a little bit. Just wait.
I'll take it just a little bit deeper just to see if they can get that finish behind the guard. Looks like it's successful for Lauren Ferguson.
I know.
Looks like she can probably see all of it. Might be edge on edge, but should be able to see the majority of it. Oh yeah, there's the angle there. You can see all of it.
Lauren's mom, Lisa, is watching at home. Big hello to Lisa Ferguson, watching back in Prince Edward Island. Your daughter's doing good, Lisa. Boy, the mechanics of these players, Jim, just so many rock solid deliveries and pure throwing motions too, and I think that's a big advancement in the sport of curling over the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yes, absolutely. Even Lauren last when she threw that nice hit and roll there, I noticed her mechanics were just phenomenal.
We've talked,
and she's been super positive too with her team, which is I think, being a skip, you need to be positive, providing that constructive feedback when needed, but following it up with the positive side of things too.
Especially under trying circumstances too, and because we've talked, it was a frustrating few days here, and great on Lauren for staying positive and looking for the opportunities to learn and get better.
Absolutely.
So Sadie Pinksen will play the draw, try to get buried behind that center guard.
Gotta get over. Where is it? Is it T? Yeah, line.
If it's not through, they might want to try and take this one back as far as they can, trying to maximize the curl here.
Okay, Sade.
Well, that looks like it's not going to be that. Won't see an awful lot of that, I don't think, from the hack, but The guard long enough. Oh, no, it's pretty well edge on edge.
Yep. This is just one of those make it go away shots. You don't necessarily have to stick around.
Lauren, by the way, is in grade 12. She's a French immersion student, too, so
Yep. Yep.
great to see that she's able to speak 3 languages, English, French, and curling has a language all its own, as everybody knows. And wow, an inside
just like that.
Didn't see that coming.
Good sweep.
Great sweeping by that
great
front
sweep.
end.
See the replay here. Just gets by. Wow. Good sweeping.
So Sadie Pinksen will play the draw, I think. Or now they're going to call an audible and play the peel out for the blank.
I think with this score here, even if she does knows that get one, sometimes you just need to get on the scoreboard, and you know, next time they get you can throw 2 center guards and try and generate some more points. Definitely wants to make contact here.
Calling the sweep here. Trying to hold it on line, see if they can roll it out, but thinking this might be on the nose. It will actually roll out, and it does stay out. I thought it might spin back, but so it is a blank end, and none of it will take the hammer, trailing 7-0 into the 4th end. Jim, this is a great facility for this event. You always like it when you got an arena attached to a curling center and don't have to drive back and forth between the facilities. And a big shout out to the host committee chair, Nigel Easton, and the team he's got here working at this George Preston Recreation Center. We announced the successful bid last January, and I know they had 12 months of very hard work to get ready for today, but clearly that hard work has paid off.
Yes, absolutely. Nigel, he's you know, been a part of curling as far back as I can remember, and I know he's helped out with a lot of these big events in BC, and him and his crew have just done a phenomenal job. It's a lot of work, especially when you are like you said, it's one facility, but 2 different services and all that sort of stuff, and just done a great job. It's nice to have them side by side. The teams don't have to go outside or anything like that. They can just go from building to building, and it's just a great setup over at the curling club as well. The locker rooms, and there's lots of space for these teams to have their team meetings, and so it's just a perfect setting.
PEI lands one into the ring, so the center guard called by Sadie Pinksen for her vice skip and lead rock thrower, lead and a half rock thrower, I guess, and then she'll throw 3 rocks, as we've noted. Christiane West.
Yeah, it's a lot of sweeping when you're playing with 3. One thing I noticed after the 3rd end there is, even with the score as it is, Team Nunavut, they were all smiles, and it's great to see they're having a good time, and that's what it's all about.
So the come around called now for Lauren pardon me. That of course is Rachel O'Connor playing the lovely
Oh, what a great shot.
clockwise rotation to the top 4 and in jail. Not sure that there's any other options here, Jim. Got to make a move on those.
Yeah, you definitely, if you're going to throw the hit here, you definitely want to stick around. Can't be rolling out here. You can throw a little lighter weight, and even if you rack the guard, just take the guard, you might end up with 2 corner guards. So you can move that one back, but they select to play the hit here.
Working to get this by that top center guard.
Definitely
Might want to leave that now.
Stick around here for sure.
Will it hang on the rings? Should spin back in, just like that. Good throw by Christian West.
As scary as it looked, one other shot they could have played there was just get another guard up. Utilize that 5 rock rule.
That's a scary. That looked scary to me.
Yeah. PEI is really getting their rocks in good positions. That was just a beautiful shot there. That draw to the top 4 forced them to throw the hit and try and open up that scoring area.
So the hit now called for Christy Rogers. And executed successfully.
Yeah,
Not really important
shot.
to hold the shooter there.
Yeah, exactly. I think at this point in time, PEI is thinking less rocks in play, the better.
You know, we're seeing these teams for 2.5 to 3 hours on the ice, but when you look at a game such as, well, let's look at your team's game at 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's a longer than a 3-hour commitment, isn't it? Give a sense of how these teams prepare for a game. When does it really start?
Yeah, it starts right in the morning. You want to, well, even before you go to bed, you want to get a good night's rest. You want to wake up, get well, eat well, have good nutrition, and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot that goes into it. It's pretty much eat, sleep, curl. And they get here, probably an hour or 15 before the game, have their team meetings and, stretching, and then the pregame practice and all that sort of stuff. So the game may be 2.5, 3 hours, but it's probably, a good 4.5 hour process.
And what sort of things would be discussed at a team meeting?
A lot of it, just reinforcement. You might have some, strategy things that came up previous game that you want to kind of reinforce. Just simplifying and just, if there's questions that come up about, deliveries or technical, you probably want to cover that off if somebody's, struggling with a certain turn or something like that. But mostly it's just strategy and what sort of approach they want to take in the game. And some coaches I know look at stats of other teams and may have found something here or there, so they may discuss that. But a lot of it is just getting the kids just in the right mental focus. Because every single game is so important. If you have a little bit of a brain lapse, you can lose very easily. So it's just a lot of it's just mentally preparing them for when they step out on the ice. Because as you know, coaches, we have limited access to the kids, so you got to utilize that time and make the best of it, and make sure that they're ready to go.
And then there's always the team debrief after the game as well. So.
Yeah,
once the handshakes are done, the game's not over yet.
Yeah, it seems to never end. Yeah, there's always those discussions as well.
By the way, that was a good result for the Nunavut. It's buried behind there. Yes, shot rock for Prince Edward Island, but it's still not a bad result for Nunavut.
Yeah, I think they call that back in the day, it was the Donnie Bartlett 3.
That's exactly right. Still a chance to sit 2 and put some more pressure on for Team PEI.
Yeah, they're choosing the draw here, which isn't bad. The other option is they could rip that center guard, and if they give up 2 this end, it's not a big deal. But when they're drawn the way they are, why not? This one's a little bit heavy. They may want to sweep it back to that back 12 one too. As long as it's not through, you won't definitely want to stick around. But if she can carve this in here and nullify that back one, it worked out pretty well.
It does freeze up there. Sydney Howitt grade 12 student at Bluefield High School, making her debut for Prince Edward Island at a national event. She's a small town girl, we're told. Raised in the small community of Tryon, PEI, enjoys downhill skiing, traveling, and tractor pulls in her free time. And how convenient that she enjoys tractor pulls and she's playing at the New Holland Canadian Juniors. There's a couple beautiful New Holland tractors on display here. I'm sure she's cast an expert eye on those. That's going to have to be worked on, Jim, I think. It's going to come
Definitely
up.
looks a little bit short here. Great sweeping, though. She gets really low in that broom and just leaves on it. It's like having two sweepers out there with her.
Jim, you've run various practices with youth teams over the years. How much time is spent on sweeping technique? Is enough time spent on sweeping technique is a better way to ask that, maybe.
No, that's a really good question. I think over the last few years, there's definitely been a lot more emphasis on sweeping and what it can do. And there's obviously still some debates out there, but over the years, I'd probably say maybe not enough. But it seems more and more how important it is, and so I think you are seeing teams focusing on it, and I think definitely having the proper technique and the right angles and what you're trying to do with it, make it curl, make it go straight, or even just for distance is extremely important, because if you're not doing it right, you can definitely affect the stone where you end up missing the shot.
So another guard put up. Prince Edward Island sitting 2. Caitlin McDonald being asked to get at that shot stone in the forefoot. See if he can sit on top of it, if not move it a little bit, but
yeah, if they can get this one by and move it back a little bit, looks like it's over curling, maybe a little light again.
And it will crash on that.
Either that or play that, but
I don't mind saving that.
okay. If I'm high here, it's not bad either. Okay. Probably there.
You can't take away everything here, so I like this call.
Rough.
You're taking away the shot that they've just thrown a couple times, so you'll probably force them into throwing that in-turn draw, but it's a different
Just gonna
shot.
try to put
So
one, like,
I
here.
like this call.
Caitlin McDonald also, by the way, will be a member of that Nunavut team at the Scotties. Skip by Lori Eddy. Sadie Pinksen will be the vice skip. Allison Griffin,
So the way they cut in there, they can
who
probably
also,
still
I believe, is the executive
bump it
director of the
enough.
Nunavut Curling Association.
if
She
we
will be
put
the
something
second. Caitlin McDonald, the
We haven't
lead.
really played this side of
And
town, this
Donalda
end at
Matty,
least, so
who is coaching the team
Forces
here,
a
will
little
also
better.
coach the team at the Scotties in
running
Moose
about
Jaw.
the same it's been. Running about the same it's been.
That Scotties will get underway February 15th. With, of course, the wild card game taking place on February 14th at Mosaic Place in Moose Jaw.
Room. Room. Starting to cut.
I've been really impressed with the PEI. Their communication is just unbelievable. The pre-shot there was, she asked us the right questions. The front end gave her the feedback she needed, and she's just settled into the act there. So it's a very impressive communication. They're saying and doing all the right things.
So they are sitting 4 now, Prince Edward Island, and Sadie's got a decision here. She could play the doubles. She could just draw through the port and get to that shot stone.
Okay, Sade, you got it. Back line.
There's some more positive reinforcement there. Come and say you got it.
Will correct herself. Allison Griffiths is the president of the Nunavut Curling Association. But I am correct in saying she is the second for Team Nunavut at the Scotties. And originally from Prince Edward Island, I am told by a reliable source.
That's remarkable to be playing in the U21 national and also get an opportunity to play in the Scotties. It's just
It's got to bend a little, but if it can just come down a little, it might get the inside bump off of that.
It's like tucked in.
But it's usable, Jim.
it is usable. Yeah, that's for sure. I suspect you'll see PEI throw the same shot. Just a short guard, take away the shot for 2 there.
Assuming that guard is made, what would Sadie Pinksen have left? I guess the clockwise rotation intern down the other side.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was looking to see if they have any angles on those with those top red ones, but I just don't see anything there. And so
I
if
like
this
just
shot is
guarding
made,
up
I think
that
the
side.
only one left is going to be an intern draw to the button side of the button there.
We do know on this sheet that that
just a hair
side curls much more than the outturn side. So certainly able to get there, no problem. It's just a matter of throwing the right weight at it, but definitely will curl on the intern side. So here's Lauren Ferguson with her final, trying to take away the raise.
It's not moving. It's running about the same.
As long as she guards the outside of this red
Where are
one,
we?
she'll be
Whoa.
okay. The line looks perfect from here.
Mission accomplished.
Sure finished up there at the end.
That works.
I suspect can't see enough of that red one for the tap, enough weight to stick around and move that yellow one out. So they're forced into the intern draw here.
See what it looks like when you get down there.
Just good shot by Lauren.
Sadie, by the way, is a black belt in judo. Received that black belt last November. Quite a year for her 2019. She also backpacked throughout Europe solo for 5 weeks. Also volunteered on a service trip to Tanzania, helped build a schoolhouse in 2018. What a remarkable young lady.
No
Line's
kidding.
really nice.
Oh, you better not say anything bad with the black belt.
Yeah.
Might want to sweep that because it will curl. I think they've lost it already. Yeah, that side definitely moves more. We've seen that repeatedly this week.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised really. That side of the sheet really hasn't been used that much this game. So, Pebble's probably a little higher. Like you said, it curls more on that side and probably just a little bit heavier. It hasn't been used much this game. We've been primarily focused on the left side of the sheet.
So it is a steal of 1 for Prince Edward Island, and they will take an 8-0 lead into the 5th end. And while we have a moment or two, let's take a run and look through the other games that are underway this Tuesday morning in the township of Langley. On sheet C, we've got a big game featuring Nova Scotia. Women's game, Taylor Stevens, who lost a real good game last night against Manitoba, 2 powerhouse teams. And Nova Scotia seems to be back on track this morning. They're playing Quebec's Noemi Gauthier, and it is a 3-0 lead for Nova Scotia. A deuce in the second end, 1 in the fourth, a steal of 1 in the fourth. Nova Scotia comes into that game with a 3-1 record and would nail down a spot in the championship pool with a win. Quebec at 3-2 desperately needs to win to get into that championship pool. Certainly would improve their chances. Also this morning, finishing out the 4th end, but it is the Northwest Territories in a 2-1 lead right now over the Yukon. Both those teams winless. Tiana Bain and the Northwest Territories at 0-5. They started the game with 1 in the second, a steal of 1 in the third. Yukon 0-4, skipped by Bailey Scoffin, got 1 back in the third. They're on Skip Rock, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then over at the Langley Curling Center, you've got Newfoundland Labrador Mackenzie Mitchell at 2-2, playing unbeaten Saskatchewan Ashley Tevno. And it is a 6-1 lead for Newfoundland Labrador. Saskatchewan gets 1 in the first and a big 3 for Newfoundland Labrador in the second and a steal of 3 for Newfoundland Labrador in the third. So that Ashley Teveno looking to go to 5-0, but facing a steep hill to climb now. 6-1 down, and that's a bit of a surprising result there this morning. In men's play this morning, here in the Langley Curling Center, over on sheet A, it is Nova Scotia's Graham Weagle out to a 3-1 lead over New Brunswick's Liam Marine. Nova Scotia coming in with a 3-2 record. New Brunswick winless at 0-5, and it is 3-1 playing the fifth end, Nova Scotia with Last Rock. And Saskatchewan, Ryland Kleider taking on Northwest Territories. The Sawyer Kaiser team that gave us such a great show yesterday, and it is a 3-2 lead for Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan at 3-1, Northwest Territories at 0-4. But I'll tell you what, they are better than that 0-4 record would indicate. They've been very, very impressive. And then a big game over at the Langley Curling Center. It is Manitoba number 2, skipped by Jacques Gauthier, taking on Northern Ontario's Jacob Horgan. And it is a 2-0 lead for the Manitoba number 2 team. A deuce in the second end. Northern Ontario has hammer in the fourth end. And in our sheet, it is an 8-0 lead for Prince Edward Island over Nunavut, playing the fifth end. A reminder that you can get all the scores all the time on curling.ca/scoreboard. That's curling.ca/scoreboard for all the scores.
Your mention of the territory teams, that I've been really impressed on the ladies' side and the men's side. How much they've been improving, and they've had a lot of great games. Like you said, with the men's, the territories boys team here, they have had a lot of really close games, and by the sounds of it, I hear they're coming down into northern Alberta and Manitoba as well, and getting the competition they need. And I think that's sort of been to their disadvantage over the years, is just not having the teams to play. And so for them to be putting in that dedication, putting in that time, and it costs a lot of money, and so it's sure paying off, and it's great to see it.
And we'll update that game between the Northwest Territories and the Yukon. Northwest Territories women, skipped by Tiana Bain, just scored a deuce in the fourth end, and they are up now 4-1 on the Yukon. So Prince Edward Island does have a shot in the top 8, and 2 stones out in front protecting, so Nunavut will try and remove some of that trouble. They look pretty lined up here too, Jim.
Yeah, they do. I think at this point, the key, the main focus is not to be too concerned with the scoreboard. Obviously, with an 8-0 score, you just want to be focusing on, making one shot at a time, and just simplify the process, not look at the big picture. And because again, with both these teams, a lot of it, just getting that experience on this ice, and may not be super happy with their results this week, but just focusing in on those little things, and that'll make them better in the long run.
And there is an example. That shot just now actually produced a great result. 2 corner guards up as a result. Moved the guards from the middle, so.
Absolutely, that couldn't have worked out better, having those 2 corner guards up there now.
PEI will try to remove one of them. I think this has got some curling to do, though. Will it touch it? It does, and rolls onto the rings. Should go through, but nice shot there by the PEI second, Christy Rogers.
It was a nice shot by Christy. Those wide corner guards don't often throw out there, especially usually the corner guards are a little bit closer, but with the situation, how they, hit the center guard, rolled over there, that was a nice shot.
Jim, as we noted, you'll be skipping your team at the BC Men's Championship, a joint event, the BC Men's and Women's Championships that begin later this month in Cranbrook. And how are you feeling? How are you looking going into that event?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. They started last year in Quesnel, joining the men's and the ladies together, and I just thought it was a phenomenal atmosphere. And they're doing it again this year in Cranbrook, and totally excited for it. Anytime, when it comes to provincials and playdowns, it's always an exciting time. That's exactly what you play for all year is to put yourself in a position to try and represent your province at the Brier or the Scotties. So totally looking forward to it. Cranbrook, they've hosted numerous events over the years and have always been a huge success. So can't wait to get there.
And I believe the coach of the junior girls team that your daughter's playing for will be one of the skips in that field too, if I'm not mistaken. Tom Bushy, is he playing?
No, Tom,
he's not.
He
Okay.
just he qualified for the senior men's.
Did he?
A couple
Okay.
weeks ago.
Oh, that was a cheeky way to make that shot, but worked out.
Which was a big feat. You know, the senior men's playdowns there's a lot of teams, a lot of really good teams. So he'll be off.
So you don't have to worry about him.
Don't have to worry about Tom Bushy this year. Thankfully, we've had a lot of battles, good battles over the years, and obviously a really good friend.
So the corner guard still up for Nunavut, and then Caitlin McDonald try and get one behind it. Caitlin will jump out and try and help Christiane West to get it there.
Yeah, if they can make a nice draw here.
Might be just a little light, though.
Just a little bit late, yeah.
Control.
Take on those guards. That's the call for Sydney Howett.
Yep, if they're not in play, they can't hurt you.
Here.
Well, the call is
The
to
only
maybe
thing
come
is
in.
if we come deep, they come to us.
Well, that's always the current concern, isn't it, Jim? If you go behind the
I
corners.
think I still like that.
Yeah, Lauren
Control.
definitely made a really good point there. It's great if you make it, but if there's a little slip up, you definitely give an opportunity for Team Nunavut.
Well, no.
And based on the scoreboard, this is probably the right call.
Christy.
Yes, absolutely.
Got to make it, though. And it is a swing and a miss. So another chance for Caitlin McDonald to throw that counterclockwise rotation for a right-hander. Out turn.
Yeah, they got the double corner guard there, so if they can get around there, mostly buried, ideally buried, and it's not just your typical run back with the two corners. Definitely a key shot here.
Top 12 maybe?
None of it definitely wants to get on the board. Ideally get 2 or 3.
Look at Christiane West, head down, trying to drag this into the rings. I think it's going to touch paint. Love to get it buried.
Another great sweeping here by Christiana. She's just pounded it to the top 12 there, and looks to be in perfect position.
Yeah, very nice.
That. I think we try board if we catch one of the guards. It's not.
Yeah,
horrible.
Definitely
Oh,
half
they're
buried.
lovely.
Lauren can probably see enough to remove this from play. She's probably looking to roll to the middle.
We can probably
You
still
heard the
get out of this
conversation
one.
there. I mean, there's a right way to miss here too, isn't there? And
Yes, absolutely, there is. If you come off those top ones and even roll into the rings. I like her weight choice here as well. I think that if it does overcurl a little bit, she comes up the corner guards and may roll in the rings, and sometimes your best guard is second shot. So I like the weight choice on this one.
Yes! Yes! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
based on that sweep call, you got to think it's close. And wow, I think they were a little surprised that didn't move more.
Okay.
Maybe got the weight up a little bit too, Jim?
Yeah, maybe sometimes you'll see the ice
Sadie,
to
what's
the
the
corners.
10?
It'll look like it's
11?
they might straighten up as the week goes on. So you might have seen a little bit of that where it starts to curl and then straightens up just before the hog line. So I'm not exactly sure if that was the case, but maybe a little more weight than she wanted to throw as well. Looked to be around that 10 seconds.
So now a hit to sit 2 for Nunavut. Boy, they'd love to be able to get a deuce on the board to go into that 5th end break.
You got a piece, but you might not stick
Needs
around.
this one to curl up.
It's going to hang on the edge.
Okay, Sade.
Oh, just rolls out.
Very close there.
So Lauren Ferguson will take another crack at it.
That looks good.
Might squeeze the ice up just a touch.
I'm gonna try the same thing with just a hair less ice.
There, you heard it.
Okay.
This is one of those just make it go away situations. Does not need to stick around here.
No. No. Nothing. No. It's by.
My goodness. Well, that is clearly a troublesome piece of ice for Prince Edward Island. As a couple of flashes, now Sadie Pinksen only needs to touch paint, and she will get a deuce. And that'd be a good positive result to end the first half of this game for Nunavut.
Yes, most definitely heading into, she can make this draw here, heading into the 5th end break on a positive note. Definitely a good thing.
Need all house. Whoa, Kate, whoa.
Looks
Just
really close here.
Keep that broom down, that's all I like to say.
No, never. You just need all house.
Looks good. Sweeper's on it.
You just need it in the rings.
That, you know, as we talked about last time, that's that same side of the sheet that may not have been used quite as much, and curled up nicely to the top 4 there.
Very, very nice draw for Sadie Pinksen, and it is a deuce that will go on the scoreboard, and that will send us into the 5th end break. Prince Edward Island with an 8-2 lead when we return for the 6th end in just a few moments.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also a curler.
Guys, you know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
Before there was ice, there was our hallway at home. I was always the shy, quiet kid who loved math. But when I saw math come alive in the geometry of the game, I found my passion and my voice. It's a game of precision, a game of inches. It's the equation that now defines who I am.
Curling, the game with the ice and the rocks and the sweeping and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake. Then, 2 teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds until one team is victorious. It's just that simple. Or is it?
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We're a team now, like the 4 of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, but that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
Welcome back to the George Preston Recreation Center here in the township of Langley in beautiful BC. It is Draw 10 action Tuesday morning at the 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championships. I'm Al Cameron from Curling Canada, joined today by Jim Cotter, 8-time BC Men's Champion, 2-time BC Junior Men's Champion, 2-time BC Mixed Doubles Champion. What haven't you won? Wow, that's a good resume regardless. He can wallpaper his house in Purple Hearts. That's always fun too. And it is women's action here this morning between Nunavut Sadie Pinksen, Prince Edward Island. And it is an 8-2 lead for Prince Edward Island's Lauren Ferguson from the Cornwall Curling Club. And I think, you know, you'd look at that one big end, the steal of 6 in the second end when Sadie Pinksen had the draw. And it's safe to say Prince Edward Island has been pushing the issue, and none of it has been chasing this whole game.
Yes, absolutely. It really came down to that sixth end. That was a big steal of 6, but getting that deuce in the fifth end, going into that break was definitely positive. They can generate some points here. You can get a couple corner guards up. Looks like they selected a hit here, though.
So, Jim, what I like to do with our guest commentators is to put them in the position of a coach. And you've been a coach, obviously, yourself many times. So what would you have said to the teams? Let's start with none of it coach Donalda Matty during that fifth end break. What would you have been saying?
I would have basically just just go out there and execute shots. So just keep making shots in a row, and you never know what can happen. It's you know, playing 10 ends. I've seen bigger comebacks from 8 to 2. So I think it's just to simplify, not beat yourself up too much, and just start executing shots. Work together as a team. Stay positive, and you never know, good things can happen.
And Prince Edward Island coach Pat Quilty, what might he have been saying to his team during that fifth end break?
Basically, stay focused. Even though you're up several points, you know, you still need to make your shots. There's still a lot of game left. Got to go out there and execute, and just make sure you score. This is a big end to make sure, even if you get one this end. So definitely give yourself a shot to score. Keep the middle open.
So there is a red guard up for Nunavut on the center line, and they are trying to get one buried behind it. They'd like this to stop pretty darn soon. Will go deep, will it be out? Lauren Ferguson does take it past that end line.
Yeah, definitely the tolerance there would have been to be short. They could even have selected to throw 2 center guards. That's one thing I would have added in the fifth end break discussion there. Basically getting as many rocks in play as possible, and just start sinking around later on in the end.
So all of our games are into the second half now. We'll give you another quick update. In the women's games, we have the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, and the Northwest Territories starting to open up a bit of a lead. Tiana Bain getting a deuce in the fourth and then stealing one in the fifth to go up 5-1 on the Yukon, skipped by Bailey Scoffin from Whitehorse.
You so often see this after the fifth end break. The sixth end is often a little bit quicker. Those mops, when they cleaning the ice during the break there, you often see rocks slipping through the rings or guards slipping back into the rings.
The other women's game that's taking place here at the arena, it is Quebec versus Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia in a 3-1 lead playing the sixth end. That team skipped, of course, by Taylor Stevens playing Noemi Gauthier. Quebec getting one in the fifth. So it's 3-1 Nova Scotia. They have Hammer playing in the sixth end. Over at the Langley Curling Center, one game on the ice over there. It is Newfoundland Labrador and Saskatchewan. It's still a 6-2 lead for Newfoundland Labrador's Mackenzie Mitchell. Surprising 6-2 lead over undefeated Saskatchewan, skipped by Ashley Tavenot. Playing the fifth end. They have not reached the break there yet. So Nunavut does get one in front of that Prince Edward Island stone, but still behind the tee line. So I believe the call, Jim, will be to try and get one buried in front of the tee.
Yeah, they're looking to draw top full 8, top 4 here. The other option would be to rip that guard. Just want to do a quick shout out to good friend Silly Robbie in PEI there.
Silly Robbie. There's only one Silly Robbie in PEI that I know of.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess
he's
there
definitely silly.
Oh, he is.
Just a great guy. Super funny. Another good friend, Ryden Giddens. Those guys together is just a comical show.
I'm going to guess that would be Robbie Doherty. He's got a few Purple Hearts himself and played at this event a number of times as well. And like you say, one of the true good guys in the sport of curling.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Just a quick rundown of the men's games taking place as well this morning. Newfoundland, it's Nova Scotia's Graham Weagle up 4-1 now on New Brunswick's Liam Marine, playing the 6th end. Saskatchewan, Ryland Kleider in a 4-2 lead against that very, very talented Northwest Territories team. 0-4 just does not tell the story of how good that team is and will be as they keep working at it. All 17 or under. And over at the Langley Curling Center, it is a 2-2 tie now between Manitoba number 2, skipped by Jacques Gauthier, and Northern Ontario, Jacob Horgan. Northern Ontario steals one in the 5th to tie it up. So Manitoba 2 will have the hammer playing in the 6th end. So that back house is getting busy, Jim. It's going to be a race to see who can get one in a perfect position.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big shot here. She's going to want to get this in a really good position. As you said, this side curls are starting to move in there pretty good now. You can probably see a switch here real soon. Oh, great sweeping.
Wow, very nice.
It's a really good position right there.
So, Jim, when you say you'll see a switch, what do you mean by that, and what would it have accomplished?
Well, it looked like they had switched early, but we know in that spot it curls a lot. So I was just sometimes you hear the switch back, but
that's meaning the sweepers, I guess.
Yes, the sweepers on that one. But it was out there far enough; they weren't too worried about it over curling. We've just seen that spot, that intern coming home there, just curl a little bit more, and sometimes we try and make them curl too soon, and then it's quick switch back. But they knew exactly what they were doing and made it perfectly.
Looking to see who has shot rock there. It's going to crash on the guard, it looks like. Let's see. I think it is Nunavut that still has shot, Jim. And very important that rock stayed in play there too, isn't it? It's in a good spot that could be used.
Yeah, absolutely. Rolling into the rings there to get 3rd shot.
Does move the center guard off as well, so there is access to that PEI stone if needed. But as noted, it is Nunavut sitting shot rock.
Yeah, they're accomplishing what they want to do. They want to get lots of rocks and play this end, and there's definitely no shortage of that.
PEI vice skip, Sydney Howitt.
PEI has to be a little bit careful here.
Will they nudge that into shot position? Not quite. I think it is still Nunavut with shot stone. But I don't know that Nunavut can make a play on those rocks because I think it would drag right onto their shot rock at the back of the forefoot. So
you're absolutely right. I was looking at that myself. It looks like they might be, if red is shot, might be looking to a tight guard here, corner freeze on there. I think she selected to jar the button. The situation you may want to, even if you're just a guard and try and sit in 2 later on or on your next one, just because of how those yellows are lined up. But we don't want to come too deep on those. Also, just be a natural nose hit back and get rid of a few of the red ones there. And if you do draw the button, they probably do have the same shot where be angled right onto it. The key is they do have rocks in play. That's what they wanted to do. That was their goal this end.
And we talk about that word tolerance, Jim. I would say light is the tolerance here again. You don't want to go in heavy at all.
I think this is this looks to be a really good shot. It's probably the call. You'll probably see PEI draw in there, and that's what you want them doing. You want them drawing. You don't want them hitting just because of the score, even though they're really good at drawing.
Skips rocks now.
Do you like normal? Just because I think moving away from center, I think it'll move. Maybe normal there.
Hit and roll here, Jim, or?
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if yellow is shot rock. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, we've made the call, but
they did bump it up an inch earlier on with that top yellow.
I don't think we can hit it
there.
thin enough to get the double, but even nosing it gives us something to use.
Even if she does roll in, she can come off maybe off the back end of her other one there as well. And
Jim, I'm still calling it
I don't
red.
mind the other turn, Sydney. I don't think we can get it thin enough because of that guard. Just control. Should be close.
Would you ever think about playing the red straight back onto the yellows? Because it looks like it's lined right up.
You could look at definitely, even the straight peel on that one is not a bad call, that's for sure.
And the slash here is available too if they
Rachel!
sit two.
Hard! Any roll, Christy! Hard! Hard!
They're going to try and get the roll in. But now if, yes, Nunavut plays a guard up there, that won't be available either.
Yeah, I think you're right. There must be, red must be shot, or else you'd see maybe if there's enough room there, you might have seen like a hack weight, little double, push that other one, sit two.
PI might have even thought about keeping that on the high side and see if they could have made the slash as well, but
yeah, seeing that angle there, that hack weight shot is not there, so it's definitely the right call.
So it will be a guard call for Sadie Pinksen, who has shot rock.
Another option would be to throw the out turn and draw around those two yellow ones on the top there, sit two. Nothing wrong with this.
Where is it, Kate? Hey, on its own, on its own.
Don't want to line this up. You want to leave it pretty high, I think.
Should finish up here.
Maybe you want to see if you can sneak through there.
Don't want to line this up. Make sure you're sweeping it.
Okay.
Well, jiggles the angles a little bit, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Not bad.
Because that angle's not easy to call. I'm still more tempted by the run back on the red. Maybe I just want to see it to see what would happen.
It's okay.
I like to be entertained.
The one danger of raising that red on the yellow is you could give up two if you high-sided it.
But I haven't thrown a draw in a while.
There's that discussion.
Pretty much just nose or hair inside. I think
so you got a couple weight choices here. You could just play even the double tap. But again, you want to make sure you're overcurling this, hitting it on the low side. You don't want to high side this.
I think we try it for multiple here. Yeah, I like this. Control, because I just threw that here.
So red onto yellow, onto red, and a score of 3 potentially for Prince Edward Island.
And like I just threw the spots.
Maybe even 4.
Could potentially be 4. You'll probably see the yellow one and the 4-foot on the right side would probably roll out, but you never know. It might even catch them back there. But if you get the inside, you're definitely your shooter sticking around. So 3 for sure, maybe 4 here.
Definitely has to get to nose, if not just a little across the face. Did they leave it too long, though?
Well thrown.
Oh, got to sweep that.
Oh, great shot.
Yeah, still gets the job done.
Looks like 2, definitely 1. That was a great throw.
Even we'll see if it is 2.
That was definitely throw it to the sweepers. Let the sweepers make that one. That was a great throw.
Yeah, very nice. Good vision of those angles too, Jim.
Yes.
I don't know if they're measuring if they would just have a double with it. I guess not.
I'm thinking that Nunavut conceded the deuce there. We'll wait to get that confirmed on the scoreboard, but either way, it is a score for Prince Edward Island, and they will go up either 9-2 or 10-2. And here's a Now it was a good imaginative shot, and the opportunity was presented when that last Nunavut stone came in deep, Jim.
Yes, that was a great shot by Lauren. Whether it's 1 or 2 here, scoring in the 6th end is definitely key, and there it is. It is a deuce. Scoring in that 6th end is such key, especially coming off that break. You want to get the momentum back after giving up the deuce in 5.
While we have a moment, Jim, let's talk about our great title sponsor, New Holland. They are, once again, we've been telling you about it all week. It is the Great New Holland Hay Tools giveaway. Jim, they are giving away $550,000 of farm equipment in a draw that will be made on March 2nd. We got tractors. We got skid steer loaders. You know what? This is a language that every farmer will know about. And all they have to do to find out more is go on to newhollandgiveaway.com. That's newhollandgiveaway.com. It is the Great New Holland Hay Tools giveaway. Like I said, $550,000 worth of farming equipment. There is weekly draws being made up until February 25th, and then the big draw will be on March 2nd, 2020. And it is a chance to win big, really big. It is the Great New Holland Hay Tools giveaway. Find out more and get your entry in at newhollandgiveaway.com. And there's a couple of beautiful New Holland farm implements on display out here. Rollins Equipment, the local dealer for New Holland, a great supporter of this event. Met Vic Rollins a couple times. Really a big supporter of junior curling, and wonderful to have New Holland again with us as our title sponsor.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to enter that contest. I could definitely use one of those machines on my property. It's so important. You know, New Holland and all these other sponsors that have really stepped up to the plate. These events just don't happen without them, so big shout out to them. Thank you very much.
So we go into the 7th end. Lead rocks. That was PEI's Lauren Ferguson throwing at the open stone. And it was trying the corner, I'm sure, and then lovely roll there by Rachel O'Connor as well.
Yeah, rolled nicely in front there. Definitely want to get a corner garden play this end.
Rachel, 21 years old, receptionist at Pure Spa and Moto Yoga. Loves traveling and off-roading in a Jeep on the red soil of PEI. Played in the Canadian Mixed Doubles Championship last year as well at Fredericton. 2-5 record with partner Ryan Abraham. And for those who wonder about such things, we can tell you these stones that are being used during these New Holland Canadian Juniors here in the township of Langley, they were also used in Fredericton at the championships last March. The Canadian Mixed Doubles, also the Canadian Wheelchair Championship was out there, as was the U Sports and Canadian Colleges Athletic Association. So well-traveled stones. Prince Edward Island sitting 2, rock in hand, but I think the throw-through will be the call here.
It's a smart call. Definitely don't want too many rocks in play.
I got to say, that's the first throw-through I've seen that wasn't cleaned perfectly. Typically, the throw-through is the best cleaned rock in curling, as my friend Paul Webster at the Glencoe Club and National Training Center likes to tell us, and he's right.
Yeah, those ones are usually fun to sweep.
Who decides, by the way? I noticed one, Rachel dropped off there. Who decides who gets to sweep those?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
One of those.
I usually, if I'm in that position, I usually hand it off to the other guy.
Well, that's a veteran's prerogative right there.
Yeah, I'm old. I need to conserve my energy.
Reminder, we'll be back on the air today at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a good game this afternoon, as we'll see the BC host team, skipped by Johnson Tao, taking on Alberta's Ryan Jakes in a must-win game for both teams if they want to move to the championship pool. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Then we'll close out the preliminary round robin at 7 p.m. tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. That Manitoba 2 team skipped by Jacques Gauthier taking on unbeaten PEI's Ryan Smith. And when I say Ryan Smith, I don't know why I keep saying it. It's Tyler Smith, of course.
Wow, that'll be a battle. Both teams are playing extremely well. That's a really good draw. That's the team, none of it. It's the one time you do want to get, go to the back 8 foot. There's a short corner guard, so draw to the back 8 foot. Nothing wrong with that. Haven't decided to hit here. Sort of like the intern come around. Even if you slide behind the button, go to the back 8 foot or back 4 foot there, but maybe try and corner freeze on that one in the top forward. Help generate some points.
And Jim, you can't really understate the importance that comfort plays in a shot call like that. A lot of veteran skips would see that as opportunities, having those yellow stones out in a front position like that, whereas younger skips who don't have a ton of championship experience see that as a scary thing.
Yeah, we often feel as though, or one thing I've noticed with the juniors is they often feel like they need to get shot rock right away, and oftentimes that's not the case. It's setting up the end, getting the right angles, and just putting yourself in a position to make that big, especially with this score, is make that big shot at the end for 2 or 3.
Okay, whoa.
But with strategy, with teaching strategy and learning strategy and all that, it's something that takes 20 years or longer. It takes a long time to really get that understanding, and maybe a lot of bumps along the road. And I've been there, and still call some bad shots once in a while. And it's all about learning and getting that experience, and that's exactly what they're doing here this week. And I'm sure they'll walk away from it being better curlers and better strategists and learning from this.
Well, and it's an evolution too, is it not? I mean, if you compare your skipping strategy today to what it was 10, 15 years ago, I'm sure it's a different animal.
Yeah, absolutely. The game's constantly evolving. The ice conditions, so many things factor into it. Even the brooms, sweeping and all that sort of stuff. The ice conditions are definitely much better. Comparative to when I was much younger, and it was a different game too. There was no free guard zone or anything like that. We could peel, and so a lot more rocks in play. I tell you, these kids are a lot more technically sound, a lot more smarter than we were at that age, at their age.
Yeah, there was back in your junior days, there would have been a lot of 3-2, 4-3 games. Lots of hits being thrown back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my second year juniors, we
just
did
clean
have
it,
the
just
3
clean
rock
it, just
rule.
clean it. You're good.
The first year, definitely not.
Good throws there by Prince Edward Island, and they are sitting 2.
Nice
Sydney
throws.
Howitt.
First one just needed more ice.
Sydney Howitt
threw it well.
making the hit.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
So now none of it will, I think, try and play the corner freeze.
I like this call. This is a good call here. Another option would be to, if it does hang out there, is to draw around it, go back 8 foot around both those, because you do have the double.
Just finishing, and it'll bounce out into the open, but pretty good weight, pretty good result.
Yep.
I think so, yeah. Because we can't do that, so.
I think Lauren can see all of it. She's indicating the hit and roll underneath. Oh, there it is.
See those smiling faces on Christiane West and Sadie Pinksen. Every year they've come here, those smiles have been absolutely in place every year, and it'd be a shame when they do move on into the adult ranks and unable to play juniors, because they've been a real pleasant crew to be around over the years and adding a lot of great positivity to this championship. So here's Lauren Ferguson. playing the hit. They roll it inside. And boy, Jim, you know, if nothing else, well, we'll hear this shot play out.
Hard! Hard!
See if they can get it by.
Right up, hard! Hard!
The little tickle, and it's good enough to get the job done. Jim, we've seen enough of this PEI team already this morning to see that is not an 0-4 team. That's a good curling team that does a lot of good things well.
Absolutely. They've been playing really well. They're very good communicators, sweepers. They've been very impressive. And that's a tough thing with curling. If you're just on the wrong side of the inch, you know, they could probably very easily be 3-0 or 4-0 on being on the right side of the inch. And can be, like I said earlier, a cruel game at times. But you know, it's all about the learning experience. Been there many times before, and there'll be better players for it after this event, and they just keep plugging away and keep doing what they're doing, and good things will come their way for sure.
So the draw being played now by Sadie Pinksen, looking at 3. Thinking she'll see if she can rub off that Yellowstone and come in behind and maybe sit corner frozen. That's a good shot.
Yeah, that really good shot. That worked out well. And as you alluded to, they've been, you know, Sadie and the girls have just been smiles all game, and it's great to see because it's not always easy to do, and it shows, you know, their true character and their, you know, just having to be out there and having a good time, and it's so important. Because it's not always about winning and losing, and it's about, you know, we told our girls before, it's, you know, enjoy the experience and take it all in, and that's exactly what these girls are doing. It's very impressive.
Lauren Ferguson will play at the Nunavut Stone. Wide open. Trying to avoid the jam here. Gets the job done, and it is still PEI sitting 3. And that will be what is facing Sadie Pinksen for her last shot draw. Looks like she will play the hit.
She's throwing 11 here. I like the weight choice. It's close to board weight. As I alluded to earlier, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe 5 years ago, maybe even more, might even throw a 9-second hit at this, and but no, obviously very well experienced, throwing the right weight here. You can hit half a rock with an 11 and still stick around.
Line's pretty tight. Yep, Pete. Yep, Pete. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks really good coming in here.
You got it.
Just going to roll a little bit. Oh, nose hit. Nice shot.
Right on the nose, and it is a single point for Nunavut. And they will get on the board with a single in the 7th end, and it will be a 10-3 lead for Prince Edward Island's Lauren Ferguson as we head into the 8th end. Reminder that you can check out all the scores all the time from the 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors at curling.ca/scoreboard. Curling.ca/scoreboard. All the scores, all the standings, all the stats that you want to see from the 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors. Just a couple quick updates. Men's game going on here. Nova Scotia's Graham Weagle giving his championship pool hopes a boost. Just stole 5 in the 6th end to go up 9-1 on New Brunswick's Liam Marine. And a big score from Saskatchewan's Ryland Kleider, taking on the Northwest Territories. Steal of 1 in the 4th, steal of 3 in the 5th, steal of 2 in the 6th, and it's now 9-2 Saskatchewan playing in the 7th end against Sawyer Kaiser of the Northwest Territories. Another miss there from Nunavut, and This will be the throw through for Rachel O'Connor.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, we'll definitely see this this men's territories teams. They're very, very young team, extremely talented. Definitely could, the record doesn't indicate how they've been playing this week, and they keep at it, and it could be the next Cooey.
Just while we got a moment, Jim and I both Kamloops boys from back when, and I'm living there again. Jim obviously grew up there, and just wanted to acknowledge that the Kamloops Curling Club held its 70th anniversary celebrations earlier this week, and Brian Needon, a name both you and I know very well, was inducted as a life member at the Kamloops Curling Club. Played in 2 Briars for BC and a longtime manager at the Kamloops Curling Club. And Jim, I know you have good memories of being around that club, as I do with Brian as the manager and watching him curl.
Yes, gave me goosebumps. Definitely very well deserved. So happy to hear that the club recognized Brian, and very well deserved. He was pinnacle to that club's success over many years. Grew up with Brian as the manager, and I was so happy to hear that they did what they did, because it's just remarkable what he's done, and the club wouldn't be where it is today without him.
I understand he's got some granddaughters who are up-and-comers in the curling scene.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun, actually. I haven't seen Brian in a number of years, but the last couple of years we've been seeing him in a lot of different events, and yeah, Team Calhoun there. His granddaughters, him and Jane are out sporting, watching them, and it's great to see. Just seeing all the now they're all older, all the grandkids, and the kids of a lot of the people I played against growing up, and now their kids are playing. It's so awesome. We get to see each other still and talk about some old stories, funny stories. So.
Ryan, a 2-time BC champion, playing with Barry McPhee, 1981, 1986. So none of it trying to get the center guard up now, but it is a clean house, which is exactly what Prince Edward Island likes to see at this stage in the game, a 10-3 lead.
You'll see Lauren walk up there and peel this off right away. Might need to curl a little bit, yeah.
Just floats by. So see what none of it can do with that now that they've got the center guard in play.
Yeah, Team Nunavut can make a good draw here. They put a little pressure on.
Quick update from over the Langley Curling Center. Manitoba number 2, Jacques Gauthier. Been seeing his mom, Kathy, hanging around here. I believe she'll be on the TSN broadcasts on the weekend. Her boy just took 2 in the 6th end to take a 4-2 lead on Northern Ontario's Jacob Horgan. Reminder, the preliminary round ends tonight with the 7 p.m. Pacific draw. Top 4 teams from each of the pools move into the championship pool. The non-qualifying teams will play in the seeding pool, and that will determine the final standings that will help set things up for the 2021 New Holland Canadian Juniors, which Curling Canada announced last week will be played in Fort McMurray, Alberta. And a reminder, of course, the men's and women's champions at this year's New Holland Canadian Juniors will get on a plane in a couple weeks to head to Krasnoyarsk, Russia for the 2020 World Junior Championships.
Nice peel there.
Ever been to Russia, Jim?
No, I have not.
You'd love to go to Russia.
It was very close in 2013, the Olympic trials there, losing to Jacobs, but that was as close as I got to Russia.
Well, Find out in 5 days if you get a chance to go there and support your daughter if they get the opportunity to represent Canada. Beautiful facility in Krasnoyarsk. Hosted the Universiade in 2019. That rock is coming deep into the house and looking like a pretty tasty double takeout.
I think they call that the pair pants double.
It's the left-hander, Sydney Howitt. Her in turn, counterclockwise.
Yeah, on this double here, you could definitely hit either or first. Executed perfectly.
And stuck. So it is Prince Edward Island sitting one. Here in the 8th end, Prince Edward Island with a 10-3 lead on Nunavut.
This is a good call here. She's playing the freeze. Sometimes you'll see the team walk up there and just hit that one, but she's still trying to generate points. Exactly what she wants to do.
A little warm is the indication from Christiane West, who is the solo sweeper. Reminder, Nunavut down to 4 players. As their lead, Lena Chown, is sidelined by a leg injury. She's getting physio today. Chance to sit 2 here now. Sydney Howitt.
Yep. Christy. Really good.
Well, it's been a real pleasure sitting here in this game with you. I think back in high school, you gave me one of my first ever interviews. I think was with you. So it's been a real privilege sitting here doing this game with you. And
I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up and remind everybody how old I am. But yes, that was one of the first curling stories I wrote as a young reporter at the Nanaimo Daily Free Press. And the BC High School Championships were taking place in Nanaimo that year, and it was my pleasure to watch Jim, a fellow NORCAM secondary product, in action at that championship and see him come out with such a great success. And my privilege actually to watch your success over the careers. And Jim won't tell you this, but I will tell you that he is just one of the most well-liked and well-respected curlers in this country. And he's got those Briar Purple Hearts, silver medal at the Briar in 2014 in Kamloops in his hometown, and 2 Ross Harstones is the player voted most gentlemanly and, let's face it, all-around good guy award at the Tim Hortons Briar. So really our pleasure to have you on board the broadcast today, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Alvin.
And obviously you're going to be busy the rest of this weekend watching your daughter in action, and obviously we wish that Team BC the very best of luck. Big game this afternoon.
Yeah, very big game. Yeah, every single game, every time you step out there, it's a big game, and especially with these, these teams out trying to get in that championship round. And today, for all the teams, or for most of them, it's these usually call Wednesday the hump day, but it's Tuesday in this event.
So Prince Edward Island trying to sit 3 here.
Little bit of room.
Yeah, thinking back to that interview, that was before the internet.
You know what?
There was no live streams going on.
That might have even been before I still vividly, oh man, I'm old. I still vividly remember the first day we got a fax machine at the Nanaimo Daily Free Press, so. I did remember bringing my pet dinosaur to the rink to watch that game, so And as neutral as I was trying to be, I mean, seeing Jim play and seeing the beloved NorCam colors on the ice, I mean, hey, I'm only human.
If she's not, then I might be able to pick it.
So draw to backing here for Sadie Pinksen, looking at 3, but if she can put this in a good spot, it'll be real hard to get it out.
Yeah, she can get this 7/8 on the low side. I don't think you'll be able to get it out.
Yep, hard! Hard, Kate! You got it hard! You want help?
Sweepers must be getting tired.
Sweeper.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to come up short, and now it is going to be a draw for 4. And what likely will prompt handshakes as Prince Edward Island in a 10-3 lead with 3 in the bank in this 8th end and a chance to get a 4th. And probably a big load off their shoulders as they have played well enough to get wins, but they're 0-4 coming into this. And we've seen again, like we said, Jim, that that's a good team that just hasn't gotten the results.
Yeah, they've regardless what the score is, they've made a ton of shots this game. They just keep pouring it on every end. And as I said, they're very good communicators. Their record definitely does not show how they've been playing.
All you.
Full 12 is all they need. And it looks like it's going to be just fine, and it will be a count of 4. And the handshakes are offered by Nunavut. It will be a final score of Prince Edward Island 14, Nunavut 3. And that concludes our Tuesday morning coverage at the 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors. Jim, thank you again for coming on board this morning. A reminder, we will be back at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Please join us then at the 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championships. Bye for now.